have the best 4 words in sports. No new positive tests. You got questions? Now that's some good news to start today. We are going to have a full slate of NFL action this weekend, and I, for one, am excited about that. So, my name is Kevin McCartney. Alongside me today are Bobby Digital Janis and John Vivros joining us for a Sunday Scramble edition. Bobby, breaking right into it, we had a Titans-Bills Tuesday night football game. We started going into it during the game on last Tuesday's show, but I want to hear your thoughts on the Tennessee Titans side of things.
Yeah, you know what? The Tennessee Titans, man, they really looked impressive, especially considering all the mayhem with the coronavirus and the policies and all that outbreak that they had. A lot of people thought they weren't going to come out. They were going to just be discombobulated. But, I have to say that Mike Vrabel, I super, super love watching that team. I love his coaching, especially in the playoffs when they played against Baltimore and New England, and they played Kansas City tough. I mean, they're just such a well-coached team, and I love the Titans. I love watching them. Fantasy-wise, look, Ryan Tannehill. I mean, we keep saying it. Look, since he took over in Week 7 of last year, and it's been 14 regular season games from then until now, Ryan Tannehill is the QB6 on the year in fantasy, and he doesn't usually have a lot of passing attempts, but he's so efficient. And he also gives you some rushing upside. I mean, Ryan Tannehill with that 30-pointer in fantasy points. He had 42 rushing yards with that rushing tutty, and then 195 yards, but he had 3 touchdowns passing. So, look, you can't expect 4 touchdowns from him every week, but, man, he is a solid back-end QB1 every single week, and he already had his bye week, so keep that in mind. And you look for the receivers, A.J. Brown, for those owners who waited patiently for him finally coming back off the injury. He had a solid, nice game, 7 catches for 82 yards and a touchdown, 21 fantasy points. So that's definitely encouraging moving forward. Jonnu Smith, 5 for 40 and 2 with that garbage time touchdown at the end. But he's also top 5 in targets among tight ends. So, it's not a fluke for Jonnu, and I would be, again, very excited at the value where you got him. And, again, he's done with his bye week. And then the last guy, fantasy relevant, would be Derrick Henry. 19 carries, 57 yards, 2 touchdowns only. But look, his breakout game's coming. He's seeing the volume. And we know that Derrick Henry, as the season goes on, gets better and better and better. And that's what the plan is for him. So hold tight with Henry. But it's so encouraging to see from that side of the ball.
All right, we had the Buffalo Bills playing Tuesday night as well, and they suffered their first loss of the year. John, why don't we hear about these Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, it was just definitely a very uncharacteristic game from Buffalo. They had played very, very smart football, very consistent on defense as well. Their prior 4 games, Grant, kind of benefited from the schedule too, a little weaker schedule outside of probably the Rams. But just Josh Allen just didn't look very sharp. Only about a 50% completion rate. Did throw his first 2 interceptions, I believe his first 2 interceptions of the season as well. Um, he finished 263 and 2. The big thing was that the Tennessee Titans controlled him on the ground. He only had 4 rushes for 18 yards, and also them being down so quickly early definitely limited his rushing ability. He had to throw more. That may be the way to beat the Bills is force Josh Allen to throw more. If he can't get on the outside, can't use his legs, he's definitely a little bit less of a threat. But even that though, no Zach Moss, but TJ Yeldon had 7 carries for 52 yards. He was their leading rusher. Devin Singletary struggled a lot as well. In the pass catchers, it was more of the same. Stephon Diggs, just target monster, got 16 targets, had 10 receptions, 106. Yeldon and Isaiah McKenzie. Shout out to you guys if you had them in your fantasy pool. They had your touchdowns as well. So it was just it was like I said, it was I think it was more of a blip in the radar than actually the Buffalo Bills being bad. I think Tennessee just frustrated them and they forced them out of their comfort zone. They couldn't establish the run game, and therefore Josh Allen was forced to throw. And that, like I said, that might be the kryptonite of this team is when Josh Allen does get into a kind of a track meet and he has to throw a lot. He might struggle a little bit. But again, I was very impressed by Tennessee and how they played the game, especially with all the hoopla around them with the COVID test and everything.
Yeah, Tennessee seems to be the real deal. And speaking about COVID tests, like I mentioned earlier, we have great news. No new positive tests today. And it seems like that's the first time in a while on game day or game day weekend to see that happen. So that is fantastic news to hear. And we got a fantastic slate of games Some of them are good. But we have games this weekend, and they're all going on, so at least for now, I'm excited to hear that. We do have some injury news coming out, so just want to give some updates on that. Drew Lock is going to be starting in Week 6. Denver is an interesting situation. You also see Melvin Gordon missing the game, apparently not due to his DUI, but due to, I believe it's a stomach virus or something. So his DUI issue that he got into may still end up affecting him later down the road. The suspension comes from that. So Philip Lindsay owners, this might be your time to shine. Going forward with the injury updates, Jarvis Landry is expected to play in Week 6. Baker Mayfield is going to be starting against the Steelers. Odell Beckham Jr. is going to be playing. And John Brown is expected to play. More news coming out, and we will be updating you as it goes along. But before we go any further...
Real quick, actually a breaking news just came out. DJ Chark is active. So I know he was a kind of a question mark. They wanted to see how he did in warmups, but he was just ruled active in Detroit. So DJ Chark owners, you might have a shot there. Just definitely keep an eye on the situation.
Yeah, other news coming in. Leonard Fournette's expected to play Week 6. Interested to see how that's going to impact the Tampa Bay running game. Outside of that, we are about to go into our rapid fire matchup breakdowns where we go through the entire slate of NFL games this weekend and we break them down rapid fire style, starting with the Texans and the Titans. Bobby, the floor is yours.
Yeah, we talked about Tennessee. Very impressive team. Can they keep it up? I think so. They have great coaching. The Texans do have a run funnel defense, so if you're looking for that final smash game that you've been waiting on for Derrick Henry, this could very well be it. You get Tannehill in there as a low-end QB1 as well, and you start the position players there. As for Houston, I like Fuller and Cooks this week. Can they keep it up in that post-BOB offense? David Johnson also a low-end RB2 in this one.
All right, our next matchup, the Bengals at the Colts. John, go.
So this one is not a great game on paper, but I think it actually might prove to be pretty good as well. Cincinnati's definitely been playing better. Joe Burrow coming along well, but he is facing this very tough Indianapolis defense. I do believe Phillip Rivers and the Indianapolis offense should have a field day. Look for Jonathan Taylor and T.Y. Hilton to definitely have big games, but also look for Joe Mixon to find his way into the end zone as well for Cincinnati.
All right, Bobby, we have the Falcons at the Vikings. Let's hear your take on this game.
Vikings not the feared defense like they once were. Falcons now with their new coach post Dan Quinn. They get Julio back as well. I like this game to be a high-scoring game. Obviously, loving Alexander Mattison this week. I love Justin Jefferson as an upside play. Thielen is a top 4 wide receiver play in this one. As for the Falcons, I think the return of Julio really could open things up for that offense. Hopefully, Todd Gurley also a solid RB2.
All right, so the next matchup is the Broncos at the Patriots. John, the floor is yours.
Interesting game once again as well. Patriots had a lot of COVID stuff, but they're good to go. Cam is playing. Stephon Gilmore is playing, as far as I know. Broncos has a really underrated defense. They're just not a very good team. Look for Cam to have a huge game on the ground and through the air. Also, Phillip Lindsay liking the play this week. I hope he finds the end zone a couple times.
All right, for our next matchup, we have the Washington football teams at your New York football Giants. Bobby, take it away.
I think this is going to be a low-scoring game. The Giants quietly have the 6th best fantasy defense. They have a lockdown corner in James Bradbury. And meanwhile, on the Washington football team side, Chase Young obviously back in the lineup with a solid defense there. Daniel Jones has not even thrown a touchdown pass yet. I like both defenses in this one, and I think it could be low-scoring.
All right, you guys are not giving me enough time to cut you off, so let's hear a little bit more. John, Ravens at Eagles, go.
This is the Lamar Jackson show today. He breaks out of his funk, and he goes huge. I'm looking like 4, maybe even 5 touchdowns through the air on the ground. Carson Wentz, this might be the beginning of the Jalen Hurts show in Philadelphia. I don't see Travis Fulgham repeating what he did last week. I think Jalen Hurts sees a little more action than the 3 or 4 snaps he's been seeing, and he might as well take over for the job after today.
Yeah, it may be his show soon. Next, moving on to the Browns at the Steelers. Bobby, go.
Very interesting game here. Let's start with the Steelers with the news that Deontay Johnson is out. Look for Chase Claypool to get even a higher percentage of snaps in this game. Look for Juju to bounce back as well. Love the passing game with Big Ben. Connor, a solid play. As for the Browns, Beckham and Landry were questionable heading in. They will play. Baker questionable with the sore ribs. He will play, but look again for them to lean on the ground game here with Hunt. Steelers have a good defense, but Stefanski, a great schemer. So look
Bears
for the
at
Browns to be in
Panthers.
this
John,
one.
go.
Bears, Panthers. This game is definitely very interesting once again as well. Two teams. Bears are definitely one of the worst of the 4-1 teams. I think the Panthers are definitely better than their record says. They definitely are missing Christian McCaffrey, but I think Mike Davis does do a suitable job. And the Bears defense, I think they can probably be gashed a little bit. Looking, especially Robbie Anderson going deep. I do like the. I like the Panthers today. I think the Panthers win this game. I'm not a fan of Nick
Lions
Foles.
and Jaguars. Bobby, go.
High-scoring game between two bad teams. I am playing against James Robinson in multiple leagues, but he is just going to go off today. Lions getting healthier on the offense coming off the bye week. Jaguars have some injuries on defense. Start all your position players in this one as well.
That's all you got?
That's all I got right now.
All right, so moving on to the next, we have the Jets at the Dolphins. John, go.
This is the bane of my existence today. Losing to the Dolphins, I absolutely hate it. Start all your Dolphins players. Devontae Parker
Fins
finds
up.
the end zone twice. Ryan Fitzpatrick, 4 touchdowns, 350 yards. The Jets are awful defensively and offensively. They might even get shut out today. Do not start a Jet. Even Jamison Crowder, I don't even like him today. Dolphins defense, Dolphins kicker. Every single Dolphins position player. I start all Dolphins.
Yes! I love it. All right, Packers, Buccaneers. Bobby, go.
From a real-life perspective, this could be one of the games of the week, if not the game of the week. Sneaky shootout potential here. The Bucs linebacker Vita Vea, their run stopper, is out for this one. Packers strong coming off a bye week. Look for Aaron Jones to be involved well in the passing game here. The return of Devontae Adams spells big things as well. As for the Bucs, they're getting healthy too. Godwin coming back. Evans had a long time to get healthy. And Ronald Jones is the guy in the backfield right now. So I'm loving this matchup for everyone.
All right, we have a Sunday night football matchup. Rams at the 49ers. John, the floor is yours.
Turbo set. Loving the Rams
Yes.
tonight on the road. They do. Both teams have great defenses. Both teams have potent enough offenses. I think this is definitely going to be low scoring. This is, while the other game may be more of a shootout, this will definitely be a nice defensive struggle. I do like my Rams position players though. Give me Cooper Kupp. Give me Robert Woods. On the 49ers side, Kittle, as long as he's healthy, definitely good to go. That Rams linebacking core is a little unhealthy at the moment.
All right, Bobby, we have Monday evening football between the Chiefs and the Bills. Let's hear what you got.
Yeah, so this game looks like it could be fireworks here, but keep an eye on the status of John Brown. With him in the lineup, the Bills' offense is that much more lethal. They do not have much of a running game, so look for Allen to have a big one here. As for the Chiefs, you know they're angry coming off a loss against the Raiders. They're going to go big as well. Also, the Bills, Tre'Davious White is questionable, but they've been struggling on defense anyway, so I kind of like this game to be a high-scoring one with some fireworks here. CEH's last hurrah as well.
All right, we have John, Monday Night Football, Cardinals at Cowboys. Let's hear what you got.
You got the early evening fireworks in Buffalo. You got the real fireworks in Dallas tonight. No Dak. Bring on the red rocket, the red rifle, whatever you want to call him. But I like Kyler Murray on the other side to go huge. Kenyon Drake had a nice bounce back game. This Cowboys defense is atrocious. Start all your position players on Arizona. Start Zeke, CeeDee Lamb, Michael Gallup, and you know what? Maybe Cooper finds the end zone as well. But I'm fine.
All
I'm saying,
right,
like,
that is all the time we have. Yeah, 30 seconds flies by pretty quickly, doesn't it, John?
oh yeah, you don't even realize it sometimes.
All right, so before we start moving on to your questions, Bobby, are there any of those games that you'd like to break down just a little bit more?
I just want to touch again on that Cardinals-Cowboys game. You know, John mentioned the Cowboys and how bad they've been on defense. And look at the Cardinals, though. Their key defensive player, Chandler Jones, is out for the year as well. So, they have some injuries on defense. And you know, it's that indoor in Dallas, the fast track. And, again, I think Andy Dalton, even though he's no Dak, I think he's definitely capable of getting his guys the ball. He looked all right last week. He led them to that game-winning field goal drive. So, again, we talked about on the Tuesday show, the Cowboys' position players and their wide receivers, you know, obviously they're going to get a downgrade without Dak being in there, but I don't think it's that much of a downgrade. And then obviously the Cardinals, I mean, look, they're it's just a smash spot for all of them, I think, and I think this is just a lot of points here. So, if you have Hopkins or yeah, if you have DeAndre Hopkins and Kyler Murray stack, I know a guy in our league does. I mean, I would just be ecstatic for this one.
No, anytime you're going up against that Cowboys defense, you're in for a shootout. Want to take actually, John, any of the games that you wanted to break down anymore?
Yeah, I just want to talk about the Buffalo Kansas City game. Both teams coming off a loss. Kansas City going on the road to Buffalo. I think they both respond well. I think Buffalo kind of got smacked by Tennessee, and I think that defense has to prove something, especially when you're playing against the best player in the league, in Patrick Mahomes. And Mahomes didn't even play bad last week. It was just more so. I think they just got smacked. They got exposed a little bit. In a track meet. So look for Buffalo to maybe try and make it more of a track meet, kind of like Oakland did. Maybe Oakland set that blueprint. But I think both teams respond well. I think it should be a very good, very entertaining game, like Bobby said.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and real quick, I think that game is going to be really pass heavy too. I mean, the Bills, Devin Singletary hasn't really given them much production on the ground. I think Josh Allen could very well be their leading rusher as well. I think both teams are going to go pass heavy.
Yeah, and it's very likely to see that. And I heard you mention about CEH. We did break some news on our last Tuesday's show when Le'Veon Bell was cut. You see him move to the Kansas City Chiefs, and that raises a lot of questions, not only for CEH owners, but for Le'Veon Bell owners as well. A lot of people trading or like selling high on him somehow. Like, I'm not sure what to expect out of this Kansas City Chiefs situation. The one thing I could tell you on my end from noticing how CH has been playing so far, I've always viewed him as a guy who has been actually underperforming so far this season. I thought that he has a ton of potential, a ton of talent, and a guy I was trying to buy the last few weeks. Throwing Le'Veon Bell into the mix can't be good for either of them. I mean, it could be good for the Chiefs because now they're going to have two really talented guys to be running the ball, but it's hard to see either of them putting up those high fantasy projections. And I've seen a lot of people saying this is going to be like a Kareem Hunt, Nick Chubb kind of situation. But if CEH isn't getting either of those guys' numbers by himself, what makes you think he's going to get it when you have another talented running back in the backfield? I still think CAH is going to be the man there, and I think that's still wait to see. He knows the offense better, but there's going to be a lot of moving around. But Bobby, what are your thoughts on this whole situation?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think CEH will still. I agree with you, K-Mac. I still think he's obviously going to be valuable and he's still going to see significant work for fantasy. But the reason why this is really devastating for CEH owners is because of the value of where you drafted him. He was a consensus first round pick, mid to late. Well, yeah, mid first round pick, and so that's a hefty investment for a fantasy roster. So when you have that first round pick, and then you're realizing now that he's not going to have that type of workload that he's had up until this point, it's definitely concerning with the value there, but he's definitely going to still be valuable. As for Lev Bell, I mean, look, they brought him in for a reason, of course, but I think the big winner here is really Patrick Mahomes. If you own Patrick Mahomes, if anything, because that just gives him another weapon. That gives Andy Reid, who's just a brilliant offensive coach, another weapon and ways to scheme Le'Veon Bell. But as for Bell, I think he definitely can be a valuable, at least to start, RB3 in fantasy with tons of upside. Especially considering that, when you drafted Lev Bell and he's been on the Jets, the value is obviously a lot better for Lev Bell now being in KC. So, that's my take on that one going forward. John?
Yeah, pretty much. I agree on all fronts. I do think that it's going to definitely become a platoon. I definitely feel CH is 100% the future. He's going to be the running back in the next couple of years. But I mean, most of us we all play redraft, so we don't care about a couple of years. We care about right now. And right now, with CH struggling how he has been, Lev Bell being definitely a lot more. I wouldn't say better, but I would say more refined in the passing game specifically. I think that there are going to be a lot of passing downs. Not this week, obviously, 'cause he won't be playing, but next week, where you're going to see either two running back sets, or you're going to see just Bell as a wide receiver. So I think that more so in PPR leagues, Bell has a lot more value than in tradition than standard. But if an injury happens to either one of them, then I think that that obviously promotes them back or moves them back up. But I like I said, I like both of them. I probably like bell a little more in PPR leagues than CEH.
Yeah, and you have both of them as viable fantasy options. But another thing you got to throw into the mix, and this has always been the case for CEH, but now you have all of them, is you still have a mobile quarterback. And on teams with a mobile quarterback, you can't have guaranteed touchdowns when you get into the red zone. So that's another option. It's hard to be hopeful if you're a CEH owner. I mean, he still will give you numbers, but I guess we're gonna have to see. So I would like to move on and start answering some of your questions. And we today are going to actually, Bobby, why don't you give us a quick injury update while I get your questions loaded up?
Yeah, no worries. Let me pull it up here. I know that, again, I mentioned it earlier in the broadcast that Julio Jones is active. I mean, you most likely have to start him. I mean, you just don't know. It's a wild card because he seemed to be healthy against the Packers on Monday night 2 weeks ago, and then he went out with that hamstring, and now 2 weeks later he seems like he's good to go, but he's been limited in practice. But you still got to toss him out there. Key here for Joe Mixon owners as well. I know all three of us have shares of Mixon. As for the Colts, their stud linebacker Darius Leonard is out this week, so that might give him a slight boost.
Are you saying I should start him against you?
Hey man, if you want to, I mean, I'm just spitting the facts out here. And the other thing, real quick too, is the Titans get Adam Humphries back. So if you and Corey Davis is still silent, but that's just another weapon for Tannehill in case you guys slight boost to Tannehill for all of those who are starting him.
I have another interesting injury or another active. It's Albert. I'm gonna butcher this last name. Albert Okwukabunam or something along those lines. He's a tight end, rookie tight end from Denver, with no Noah Fant, Drew Lock coming back. If you're really desperate for a tight end, he could be he might be a sneaky super deep. Like I say, if you really need a tight end, that's gonna definitely be an interesting one to look out for. Definitely do some quick hour research on this kid.
Are we going Drew Sample banger of the week status with this guy, John?
I don't know if he's banger of the week, but he might be a mini banger. Might be a mini banger.
Cool.
All right. If only we could pronounce his name.
Yeah.
All right.
Akwukbunam. Good luck, Albert Akwukbunam. That's what we're going with.
All right. Just got to say it with confidence.
Yes, sir.
All right. So, John, we're actually going to start with you today.
Right.
Jeremy asks, do I start Singletary over Robbie Anderson in my flex?
Oof. That's definitely tough. I mean, Singletary had a very rough week last week, and TJ Yeldon definitely vultured him a lot. He vultured him on he had a 22-yard receiving touchdown, and then he was 7 for 52 when Singletary couldn't get anything going. Granted, they were also down a lot. Robbie Anderson has been very, very good. One of the best fantasy receivers as well. Definitely blossoming in that Matt Rule offense. And does have I think he has a pretty advantageous matchup. I said earlier that I like him against Chicago, so I think I keep Robbie in there, especially if it's PPR.
All right, Bobby, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, I'm with John. I let Robbie Anderson for me.
All right, so that was an easy one. Moving on to the next question, we have JR, who actually has a few questions. All of these are going to be PPR. All right, Bobby, we're going to start with you. Robinson versus Carolina, who has tough defense he's up against. All right, no, this is the list. Okay, Robinson versus Carolina. Anderson versus Chicago, who is in the same boat as Robinson. Godwin versus Greenway, who just came off of IR. Or Will Fuller versus 10, who has given up most fantasy points since week 2. They can start 3 of them, have to bench 1. So I guess Robinson, Anderson, Godwin, or Fuller.
Yeah, that's for me. You're starting Robbie Anderson and you're starting Allen Robinson for sure. And on a normal week, I would play Chris Godwin. The only thing is Godwin has coming off the injury, but he did have a lot of time to heal up and recover. And I think that it's a good match. I think it's going to be a good fantasy-friendly game between the Bucs and the Packers. Will Fuller is really, has that insanely high upside though, but I'm still going to go with Chris Godwin here. I think he has a nice PPR floor, especially with Tom Brady.
We're saying who to sit.
I mean, so I'm going to sit Will Fuller then, and I'm going to start the other 3. John?
No, yeah, I definitely agree too. I think Will Fuller is definitely would be the lone man on the totem pole in that receiving core. I'm not even starting Fuller in my league. Like I said, I'm even considering not even starting Devontae Parker at the moment in one of my leagues, just because my receivers and my running backs are definitely a little better. Yeah, but I think definitely Will Fuller is coming off a couple good games in a row. I think he's down for a Will Fuller esque return to return to earth.
It's a nice wide receiver core that guy's got.
Yeah.
Yeah, for real.
All right, John. Bryce asks, full PPR 12th man. First question. Pick two. You got Claypool, Scary Terry, or Lindsey.
Of those two, I think I'm definitely going Claypool. We said no Deontay Johnson, and he's coming off that hot game. I think the Browns definitely have a better like front seven than um, they do secondary. So I like that. Scary Terry against the Giants. Giants do have a good defense. So I think I'm probably sitting Scary Terry, and I'm rolling. I think I'm rolling Lindsey. I like Lindsey today against the Pats.
All right, Bobby. I'm gonna ask you the second part of that question. We got Bobby Trees or Claypool.
Oh man, that's actually a really good one. I think I would just lean with Bobby Trees because he's just proven more right now, and he definitely has a better floor. Claypool has more upside, but I do like Bobby Trees this week against the 49ers passing defense, which hasn't been very good, and they're decimated by injuries. So I'll take Woods here, but it's a close one.
All right, John, the third part of this question. I guess these are all Claypool related questions, but we got Joe Mixon or Claypool.
Oh God, this is full PPR, right?
Yes.
Um, ooh, that's tough. Um, I think I roll Mixon honestly here, but it's close. Claypool really only had the one game. Mixon has had he's strung together a couple good games against last week in bad game script. He strung together I think 15, 16 points depending on your format. Week before obviously was his big blow up week, and then Robert mentioned earlier that the Colts are without some linebackers. So I think we roll Mixon here um, just because he's been doing it longer. But if Claypool has another huge game like last week, you gotta put him into almost must start at this point as long as Deontay Johnson's out.
All right, Bobby, we have Noah asking, in PPR, do I start Gurley today over CEH? CEH hasn't been playing the greatest, and he has a much tougher opponent, but maybe the Bell signing lights a fire under him.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with CEH still here too. I just still don't trust Todd Gurley. I still don't think he looks quite explosive. He looks slow. I don't trust the Falcons either. I just don't like what's going on there. CEH this week is going to be, like we said, his kind of like his last hurrah. He's still going to get, I believe he's going to get that volume, and he's more involved in the passing game than Gurley is. And there's always more upside in that Chiefs offense. So I'll take CEH here.
All right, John, what's your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, I agree. CH definitely has to show us something this week, or else Lev Bell is definitely going to be taking over. Um, so yeah, I definitely agree. Give me CEH.
All right, and maybe this will be one last time to try to boost his value before Le'Veon Bell comes in and starts splitting carries with him. All right, John, this next question is for you. We're picking three here, and this is standard scoring. Godwin, Julio Jones, Cooper Kupp, Chenault Jr., or Jefferson.
All right. You're gonna have to give me those five again at some point. I'm definitely liking Kupp. Kupp is all. I mean, it's standard scoring though, right?
Yes.
Ooh, that's tough to call then. I think you still go Kupp. I mean, Kupp's shown that he's been getting the yardage, getting the touchdowns. Jefferson, you're probably not. He's okay in standard scoring. He has a favorable matchup this week though, against Carolina. So I like that as well. And then what were the other three?
Godwin, Julio Jones, or Chenault Jr.
I think a healthy Godwin is going to be big for Tom Brady. Green Bay has definitely been better against against the tight ends than they have against the receivers. So I like Godwin. Godwin, Jefferson, Kupp.
Yeah, and speaking about wide receivers that make the quarterback so much better, I feel Matt Ryan's a completely different player when you have Julio Jones in the lineup. You look at his numbers when Jones is playing versus when he isn't, and he almost looks like a completely different fantasy player. And it's crazy to think Julio Jones hasn't been giving the kind of production that you're expecting from him. A lot of it's with that lagging hamstring injury, but really he looks completely different when Jones is out there. So at least having that other target to throw to, that guy that he's comfortable with. On the other hand, you're looking at the Atlanta Falcons, and they are imploding. And you're not really sure what this offense is going to look like by the end of the season. But you hope to see a healthy Julio Jones. Yes, he is active. He was on the injury block like all week. So it's, which I mean, he's going to be that way all season if you know Julio Jones. But it's hard to say. But to answer to what you were saying Godwin, Jefferson, and Cup.
Yeah, I like this. Like you said, like Julio Jones, like it's just he's been so underwhelming even when he's been healthy this season that I don't know if he's actually in that must-start territory like he used to be at this point. He's a little older now, a little more hampered by injuries over the past couple of years, and like even when healthy, like he's almost taken a back seat to Russell Gage and Calvin Ridley at this point. That I don't know if I just don't trust him. Like I would like he was a set and forget territory, and now you got to double check, you got to kind of like second guess yourself.
All right, so Bobby, this next question is going to be for you. And this comes from Chris, who asks, Cousins or Dalton at QB?
Well, man, that's also a tough one. Me personally, I would go with Dalton because I personally just don't trust Kirk Cousins. He has this amazing matchup on paper, but I mean, he could just come out and just play like crap here, and I just don't trust him in that. But as for Andy Dalton, again, I love the matchup with the Cardinals. I think it's going to be a really high-scoring game, and the Cowboys are going to have to throw, I think, because to keep pace with the Cardinals and their high-powered offense. So I like Andy Dalton this week over Cousins.
All right, and the second part of that question, John, I'm going to ask this for you. Debo Samuel or Chase Edmonds?
Is this full PPR or standard?
I don't know, so I'm going to assume PPR.
Yeah,
That's
I'm
always
assuming
going to be
PPR.
my assumption.
Yeah, because like everyone pretty much plays PPR now at this point. I think I like Chase Edmonds. I guess he's shown that he's definitely seeing more carries and more action than he had been with Drake struggling. Even last week he had a touchdown against the lowly Jets. But I think that he's got that. Again, he's playing against Dallas, like the better matchup there. I think he sees a little more action than Samuel.
All right, so for the next question, we will pose to Bobby. All right, so we are going to be starting 3. Our options are, and this comes from Jamie or Jaime. Maybe it's Jaime. Start 3. Mike Davis, Raheem Mostert, Rojo, or Robinson.
So basically, then sit 1, I
Correct.
guess. I'll sit Rojo here. Raheem Mostert is graded in the top 5 by Pro Football Focus when he's on the field in terms of among running backs. I mean, he looked great last week against Miami. It was kind of overshadowed by that blowout, and he was seeing the bulk of the snaps in San Francisco. I think Shanahan gets back to their bread and butter, and they really get into that running game this week, especially since Jimmy G's been struggling since he's came back from the ankle. I mean, Robinson. I'm sorry. James Robinson and Davis are just automatics right now. And Rojo. I mean, look, I like him, and he looked great against the Bears last week, and he's been great. But he just has that short leash. Like if something happens where he fumbles or he messes up or something, Arians is going to pull him, and so he has such a risky floor there. So I would start the other 3 and sit Rojo here.
And Leonard Fournette is back into the mix, so we can't forget that.
Yeah, good.
So, this next question comes from Kevin, not me, but a different Kevin. Hey, John, Avi answered this one. Flex Brandon Cooks, Fulgham, or Kirk? Full PPR.
Full PPR, I think that's tough. Cooks had such a great game last week too. I definitely like. Sorry if my dog in the background. I like what he's done so far. I like that Bill O'Brien, less offense as well. But I think you go Kirk, even with like all those weapons. I do like. I think I'm playing the matchup here against Dallas. I want to see a track meet, the fast track in Dallas, and I think Hopkins and Kirk can definitely do some damage to the Cowboys.
That's an interesting choice, Bobby. I'd like to hear your take on this question. Bobby.
Yeah, no, it was Kirk and the other two again. I'm sorry.
Fulgham or Brandon Cooks?
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Kirk here too. You know, for me it's between Cooks and Kirk. We saw Brandon Cooks just have incredible breakout game, 8 for 161 last week. Um, but I kind of still need to see a little bit more consistency from him. Same thing with Fulgham. I want to see it for a game or two, and Fulgham does have a tough matchup against the Ravens. And yeah, like John said, with that matchup against Dallas, that potential high scoring affair there. I like Kirk too.
All right, Bobby, this next question is for you, and it comes from Bryant. Need to start 3 out of these 5 wide receivers, standard scoring. Kenny Golladay, Chris Godwin, Allen Robinson, Calvin Ridley, Chase Claypool. Go.
Yeah, so I'm definitely getting Ridley in my lineup. Love Calvin Ridley, even with Julio back. That's
some good wide receivers.
Yeah, that's a great wide receiving core.
Great wide receivers.
Kenny Golladay, he's now fully healthy. They have, again, some of their offensive linemen came back healthy over the bye week. Jacksonville, not a very good defense. Give me Kenny Golladay there. And I will go with Allen Robinson as well, assuming it's PPR. I mean, he's just going to rack up receptions. So Godwin, it's a tough sit, but when you're talking about that group of wide receivers, the 2 I would sit would be Godwin and Claypool, and start Golladay, Ridley, and Robinson.
Some of these teams, man, people just have to just learn how to trade better. To be completely honest.
Yeah, man.
So I'm sitting on my receivers in one league are Kupp, Woods, Fuller, and Parker, and I can't trade any of them because nobody wants to trade, and it's I just can't start them all. You can't start 5 receivers.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I definitely am familiar with that situation. So we have a question coming in on our Twitch from the Chance72. John, we're going to ask this one for you. Should I start Cooks or Judy for my flex?
Ooh, yeah, in the chat, can you tell me is it full PPR real quick if he's still there? Just so I can know. Regardless though, I think I like it was Cooks or Judy, right?
Cooks or Judy?
Yeah, I think you go Cooks. Judy really hasn't done too much outside of that one touchdown. But I think Drew Lock coming back may not be. We may have to take a second to go back in the swing of things. Even then, Judy got his touchdown with the backup, that third string backup, whoever it was. Again, like I said, repressed memory. Don't even want to remember it.
All right, so it is PPR to answer.
Yep. Oh, yep. Yeah, but cool. I just saw it. Yeah, so I think Cooks is the play there.
All right, hear that? Going Brandon Cooks. All right, moving on to the next question. We actually have 2 different QB questions here coming in from Ricky. So, Bobby, the first one is Cam or Tannehill?
Yeah, give me Cam Newton here. We talked about how much I like Tannehill, but Cam Newton coming back now. He has that rushing upside. It's a better matchup against Denver. I'll go with Cam Newton.
All right. And, John, we're going to ask you the second part of this question. 2 different leagues. This time we have Goff or Dalton.
Oh gosh,
that's a good one.
That's a tough one. I think they both put up comparable numbers, but I think you go Goff here. Just more time in the offense, more familiarity, and Dalton. We have to see actually what he does with a full game. He played fine. He played great last week. I thought he played more than fine. In his in relief of Dak, but I think we just have to see more. Even though again, normally I guess I'll say play the matchup, but I think I like Goff a little bit more here because I think I want to see more. I want to see more of Zeke from the Cowboys.
Bobby, I want to hear your take on that one.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Dalton actually. And look again, I think both are in great situations, but sometimes I go when it comes to I'm trying to decide between 2 players. I try to look at the potential game script and how it's gonna be, and I think that I think the Cowboys are just gonna having to keep scoring, having to keep throw the ball. As for the Rams and 49ers, it could end up to where the Rams kind of dominate and they end up running the ball late, and it kind of caps Goff's upside. Also, the Rams are, along with Cleveland, are the 2 run heaviest teams in football. So I would side Dalton there, but it's close.
All right, and to be the tiebreaker for this one, Ricky, I'm going to tell you, start the red rifle, bring him in, let's see what he's got.
Love it.
All right. So, This next one we're going to bring to John. Got another question coming in from the chat. We have for PPR flex, Gurley, Singletary, Cup, or Juju.
I have Juju in a parlay. I just need a touchdown from Juju. So it might be his turn to actually show out. But I'm going Cup. Yeah, I've said it before. I said it again. I love Cup. My little Cooper Cup. Especially in PPR, he just eats targets, eats the catches. He doesn't drop very often. Been finding the end zone, been getting yards. I love me some Cooper Cup.
All right, hear that? We are going Cooper Cup for your flex. So moving on to the next question, Bobby, we have a question from Roger who asks, QBR replacement for Dak, Big Ben, Stanford, I guess that's Stafford, or Fitzpatrick?
Well, if it's just this week, definitely Ryan Fitzpatrick. I love him in this spot against the Jets, and he all but one game he's gone over 20 fantasy points this year. And again, going back to last year, he is a top 6 fantasy quarterback with some underrated rushing upside for this week. But if we're talking about season long, I like Ben here. Ben's been just pretty consistent. He's looked pretty solid with that offense, and he has tons of weapons. So that would be my take.
All right. And actually, John, I'd like to hear your thought on this one.
Yeah, so it was Stafford, Big Ben, Fitz, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I definitely like Fitzpatrick this week against the Jets. That Jets secondary is awful. They're gonna blow him out. So he might get a little capped on his scoring just because they're probably gonna be in the lead most of the game. It's the first time the Dolphins are favorites in like 2 seasons, and it's the first time they're huge. They're this big favorites since like 2016. Oh no, I think it's 2016 against the Jets that they were this big favorites. Again, like regardless, I like Fitzpatrick this week out of those 3, and then season long, it's a toss up between Ben and Stafford. With Galladay coming back, Stafford definitely has a lot more value, but I think Ben has the slight edge over Stafford. He's played well. He may be singling in on one receiver each week, but he has definitely played well, and he's showing that elbow and shoulder are fine.
A Chance 72 saying in the chat that he dropped Fitzpatrick week 2. You're gonna be fine. He's a plug and play guy. Definitely missed out on his best performances. I think he still has one good week left in him before you start seeing him go downhill.
No, he's got one more good week after this one. It's when he plays the Jets again.
All right. So for the next question, John, we're gonna start with you. This question comes from Josh. Debo, Harris, Edmonds, pick 2 PPR.
Pick 2 PPR. Give me Debo and Edmonds. I already said I like Edmonds. Debo, I think, like I said, I like him a lot too. I think he's got a lot of potential, and I think he definitely shines a little bit today. Bobby, what do you think?
Yeah, since it's PPR, I'll agree with you there. If it were standard, I would take Harris over Edmonds.
All right. So, Bobby, this next question is going to be for you. This one comes from Lewis. Pick 1 to flex, Debo or Jefferson. Standard league, go.
Yeah, I'm going to go Jefferson here. I'm loving the matchup against Atlanta. He obviously has a lot of upside. He's seeing consistent snaps and targets in this offense, and it's only going to get more chemistry as the season goes on.
All right.
So, yeah, I'll take Justin Jefferson here.
So this next question is going to be for you, John, coming in from Scott's. Standard league, need 2 at wide receiver, Diggs or Ridley or Galladay. Stafford is the QB, if that makes a difference.
Ooh. That's a really good team. I like that team a lot. Stafford scares me a little bit, but his receivers are definitely solid. We're 100% starting Diggs. I mean, we said it before. We say it again. He's eating all the getting all the targets, even in bad matchups, or even in like games where they're losing. Like you saw this week, we saw 16 targets, 10 receptions. Especially against Kansas City. Kansas City just showed that they're very, very, very weak against the pass, getting torched by Derek Carr. So give me Diggs, and I'm gonna say give me Ridley. Even with Julio coming back, I think that relieves the pressure off him a little bit. Matty Ice should be a little more crisp. So give me Ridley and Diggs.
Yeah, I say it's good to always have that QB wide receiver stack, but if you're risking giving up one of your better guys, it's definitely not worth it. So, yeah, I agree on that one, Ridley and Diggs. Another question coming in on the chat. Bobby, we got Brady or Big Ben?
Ooh, that's a tough one. I'll say Big Ben because I think the matchup is a little bit better. Cleveland hasn't been the best pass defense, and even though Deontay Johnson's out, I mean, Big Ben still has a lot of nice weapons there. Brady's getting his weapons back too, but I would slightly side with Big Ben, but it's really close. John,
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think big.
it's
I just have.
close, man.
It's really close. Like I think I just have slightly more faith in Big Ben right now. Brady has had more so like diamond in the rough games than he's been like consistent. I feel like Big Ben is going to be a little more consistent, even with all of Brady's weapons.
All right, Big Ben it is then. All right, so John, this next question is going to come to you from Frank. Flex Cole, Bird, or Patrick from Denver? The deeper one.
That's really deep. Say that again. It's Cole, Bird, or Patrick.
Yes.
I think that's really deep. That's like a 16-team league or like a dynasty league or something. That's like super deep. I know I liked Cole earlier in the season as one of my breakout players, and he did okay. He gets to get some targets. Patrick has been pretty consistent as well. He absolutely torched the Jets. I don't like his matchup this week though. Probably going to see that Gilmore shadow, especially him being healthy. Definitely going to be ready to go. I think we go. No, I think we go Cole. I like Keelan Cole this week. Or of those at least. I wouldn't say I like him, but I like him of those options.
All right, so Bobby, this next question is going to be to you from Rob, who asks Freeman, Lindsey, or Harris at running back.
Yeah, we talked about Philip Lindsay a little bit earlier. I think I'll go with Lindsay here. Look, Freeman is seeing the majority of the touches in the Giants' backfield, but again, the Washington football team does have a tougher defense, and I think Lindsay is a better player than Devontae Freeman in general. So I would go with Lindsey here, but it's between those two for me.
Yeah, and I say especially this week, and we'll see how far going forward without Gordon in the lineup. I do definitely like Lindsey coming back at full health and seeing what kind of potential he has. He was a great scoring option for them last year without Melvin Gordon. And now taking him back out of the picture, I think that he's definitely a good option, not only for this week, but going forward.
Well, and speaking of that, I actually have a question here from somebody, and they said, I have Philip Lindsay on my roster, and I was offered Zach Ertz for Philip Lindsay. Should I accept the deal? The guy is waiting on me. What would you guys do? Actually, I'll ask you, K-Mac. What would you do in that situation?
I would say that I wouldn't like to trade against the person I'm going against that week. And I don't want to give them Philip Lindsay because I think that they could use him against me. So maybe I'll wait and see. Hopefully Philip Lindsay gets injured so I could spam that accept really quickly in the middle of the game.
That's a good strategy there. I like it.
That's actually a good strategy. Yeah, never trade with someone that you're playing against, unless you're trading someone on buy or something like that, which I've seen done before.
Yeah, for those of you listening, I am definitely going up against Bobby and Bud, who is one of our usual Sunday hosts, but is somewhere soaking up the sun in the Florida Keys right now. I am playing against both of them this week, so that's going to make some things interesting. And it's going to be two nice, easy wins coming off the end of this.
Yo!
You know what? I do think in I hear what you guys are saying about definitely you don't want to trade with the person you're playing against, but if it's within if your league has that rule where it won't process until like 48 hours and it's like right before kickoff, and if both people are cool with letting it, not accepting it right away, then I think it could be a good trade. But yeah, I'm kind of enjoying myself this week. Probably I might get like a foot massage or whatever because I have some easy wins lined up here.
Okay. All right.
Ooh.
So this next question comes from Robert.
Bobby Digital?
No.
Question mark?
Not this time. But I forgot who it landed on. So, John, I'm going to ask you this one. Flex Mike Davis, Alexander Mattinson, or James Robinson?
Ooh.
Another.
We talked. Yeah. Another solid bench there. Well, we're a lot of darlings of our fantasy show in that one. We definitely
half-point PPR.
Half-point PPR. Okay, that definitely helps too. Obviously, we like James Robinson on this show a lot. I think as much as I want to say Madison against they're playing Atlanta. Sorry, I had a brain fart there. So I want to say Madison against Atlanta because they definitely are awful. I think I go Robinson here against Detroit. Bobby, what do you think? I know you have shares of both.
Yeah, well, no, actually, I don't. I only have shares of Madison, but as as much as I want to say Robinson, I will take Madison here. But again, it's really close. They're all incredible options this week. They're all top 10 options, I think. They're all going to see the work, and they all have pretty good matchups. Mike Davis a little tougher against the Bears, but he has that great floor and that great usage. So it's really a toss-up, man. I mean, me personally, I guess I'll say Madison because I have him this week and I'm going against Robinson. But, I mean, I think you can make the case for both being top. I mean, they're both definitely top 10 plays this week.
As badly as I want to break the tie, I kind of want to say Mike Davis.
Love
I
it.
think
Love it.
that he has so much potential. He's playing so good with Christian McCaffrey out. And he's got a revenge game this week. He's going against the Chicago Bears. I'm seeing a huge game out of Mike Davis, and I'd actually go Davis on this one.
Ooh.
I like it. I like it, man. I love that.
We all
love that.
We all
Three
have
different answers.
Three different answers. We all have
Love
three
it.
different, and we all have three different reasons too. I love it. Like, see, like that's
Yeah.
why we do it. This is why we do it.
Yeah. No, for sure. For sure.
All right. So, yeah, that's an interesting one. I say go Davis, but I don't know. We all have our biases here.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. This next question is from Dim, and this is going to go to Bobby. Sanders in a bad matchup or Lindsey with Gordon out, 12-team PPR.
Yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from with this question here, but I definitely would still go with Miles Sanders. He's most likely is your first or second round pick, and he still has a safe floor. So I would definitely still go with Sanders in this one. John?
Yeah, I think I agree here. Definitely Sanders is definitely the safer play. Even in a tough matchup, he has shown his proficiency in the passing game as well. So I think you got to go Sanders, especially because you spent so much to get him early. I think you have to almost ride him out.
All right,
You
only
go
have
to the-
time
you go-
for a few more questions, so we're going to rapid fire through these. Bobby, Tommy asked, Edmonds or Godwin, flex spot, PPR league.
Godwin.
All right. John, Din asks, should I sit Chark for Fulgham, 12-team PPR?
No, I don't think so. I think you start Chark this week, especially now you know that he's active.
All right, Bobby, Nathan asks, start 1 RB, 2 flex, Antonio Gibson, Phillip Lindsay, Chase Claypool, Cooper Kupp, Tyler Boyd. 1
Kupp.
running back, 2 flex.
Oh, I'm sorry. 1 running back and 2 flex.
Yes, your options are Gibson, Lindsay, Claypool, Kupp, and Boyd.
So out of the running backs, I'm going to go with Lindsay. And then, let's see, 2 flex. I'm sorry, run those receivers. You had Claypool, Boyd,
And Kupp.
and Kupp. So out of those 3, I will sit Boyd.
All right. So, John, we got Rodgers or Cam.
Oh, Rodgers or Cam? Give me Cam. I talked him up a lot in rapid fire. Give me Cam.
All right. Bobby, Tanyan or Gesicki, full PPR.
Gesicki.
100%.
All right. Going against the Jets, he is in for a big game. All right. From Goo, John, we need to start 3 of these. Full point PPR. Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Chase Claypool, Devontae Parker, Robert Woods, and James Robinson. Start 3.
How do people get these teams? I want to play in some of these free ass money leagues. All right. You're gonna have to run me through some of those again. We're definitely starting Robinson against. Wait, hold on. It's receivers, or is that James Robinson or Allen Robinson?
James Robinson.
James. Okay, yeah. So
We
we're
also have
starting James.
Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Chase Claypool, Devontae Parker, Robert Woods.
Give me Bobby or no. Give me Parker against the Jets. James Robinson is your flex, and then
We still have Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, Chase Claypool,
I guess
Robert
you know
Woods.
what. I guess we got. Out of those, I think we go Julio. To be honest, like I just don't know. Like that's it's honestly like pick your poison. Like it's like is my good team better than your good team? That's kind of how I feel like it's probably like an 8 or 6 team league to be completely honest.
All right, Bobby.
With a roster like
Next
that.
one for you. Sit 1, Terry McLaurin, Hollywood Brown, or Julio Jones.
Sit 1. I will sit McLaurin.
All right. Okay, this next one comes from Scott. This is for you, John. PPR, Hawkinson at Jags or Tanyan at Tampa Bay.
Give me Tanyan. I like Tanyan today.
All right, Bobby. Next one to you from Lewis. QB, Cousins, Ryan, or Goff.
With Julio back in the lineup, we talked about it. Give me Matty Ice.
All right. Flex, Slayton, Edmonds, or Drake? John.
Slayton is active. I think we go Drake.
All right,
Yeah,
Bobby.
we go
Tight end, Ingram or Tanyan?
Oh man. I'll go with Tanyan. I don't want any. I don't like that Washington Giants game. I think it's gonna be low scoring. I don't trust that offense, so I'll go with Tanyan here.
All right, John. Cooper Kupp at San Francisco or Chris Godwin versus Green Bay? Rapid fire.
Cooper Kupp.
All right, Bobby. Need to. Anderson, Crowder, Woods, Jefferson.
Anderson, Woods.
All right, Anderson and Woods. Okay.
I got to get a pen and paper next session so we can write these down, man.
For real,
Seriously.
Yeah.
like some of these huge questions.
Yeah.
Questions are pouring in. All
Love
right,
it,
we're going to
love
try
it.
to
Keep it
finish
coming.
these up. John,
All right,
pick one.
rapid
Judy,
fire.
Hardman, or Higgins? Full PPR.
Hardman.
All right, Hardman. All right, Bobby, we got PPR. Graham or Hurst?
That's my exact team right now.
I don't have time for explanation. I'll say Hurst.
All right, Hurst. All right, we have from Julian for John, Deshaun Watson or Cam Newton?
Watson.
Watson, okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right, from Anthony to Bobby, which two? Godwin, Fuller, Jefferson?
Godwin, Jefferson.
All right. From Max, this is to John. Pick three: Godwin, McLaurin, Fuller, Woods. So sit one. Godwin, McLaurin, Fuller, Woods.
Sit Fuller.
Sit Fuller. All right, and Bobby, pick two: Henderson, Singletary, Drake, Edmonds, or Fournette.
Drake and Henderson.
All right, starting Drake and Henderson. All right, this next question is for John. Davis or J. Rob in my flex?
J. Rob, love him.
All right, Bobby, next question. Flex PPR, Chark, Preston Williams, Edmonds.
You know what? Give me the upside of Preston Williams here. I think he goes big along with Parker in this game and the whole Dolphins attack.
100% agree.
All
Yeah.
right, last question from Gustavo to John. Edelman or Hardman?
Is Edelman playing? I
Yeah,
don't
he's
know.
active.
Yes, he
He's
is.
active.
He is active. Okay. I think I still like Hardman, to be honest. I think they're both low end anyway, but I think I'm taking Hardman.
Man, that is a lot of questions, and we got around to answering them all. So before we close out today, we have our Breakout Player of the Weekend segment. For those of you listening in the first time, we each go around the horn, pick one player that we expect to exceed ESPN scoring PPR projections. Bud has let us know that his pick for this week is going to be Juju Smith-Schuster. So, moving on to Bobby, who won from our last week's competition. Bobby, who's your Breakout Player of the Weekend?
Yeah, really quick. I like to look at what ESPN projects too, and so I'm gonna go with Zach Ertz. He's only projected 10.7. There's a lot of stats to suggest that it's not so much Ertz being the issue as it is Carson Wentz.
just trying to sell me on Ertz.
They get Deshaun Jackson back this week. Fulgham's emerging. Baltimore isn't as scary as you think to tight ends. He was working with Carson Wentz extra this week. He's still top 5 in usage and targets among tight ends. He's on the field almost every snap, so I could see Ertz bouncing back this week.
Now, I thought you were about to pick my pick. I'm picking him a lot because of his low projections, but I'm going with another Zach, and I'm going with Zach Moss.
Okay.
So
That's interesting.
only projected to get around 5 points this week. Plugging him back into that Buffalo offense, I think that he is going to make an impact, and I'm going to see him. By the end of this year, they're going to be leaning on him. He's going to be the guy. Definitely see a big game out of Zach Moss today. So, John, for your pick.
I mentioned him earlier just because you know what? I think I'm just going to go with it. We're going another tight end. We're going my boy making his NFL debut from the University of Missouri, Albert
I love it.
Okwuegbunam.
Let's go.
All right. That's saying it with confidence.
He's
Hey, man.
projected 2.7 points. First game. Drew Lock coming back. No, I'm not sure about his tight end situation. Give me the young kid for 3 receptions just to get me positive.
All right, so
Dude.
just going down the list one more time. Bud's got Juju Smith-Schuster. Bobby's got Zach Ertz. I got Zach Moss. And John has Albert Abgamagabagadagwe.
No, but you know what? No, but for real though, like that's part of the strategy with this breakout thing is because you got sometimes you got to dig deep and pick guys maybe who are not projected very much. and then that can make you the winner for the week. So I love that we're going with these. Well, you guys especially are going with these under the radar guys, man. I love it.
All right, I love it too, but that is all the time that we have for today. 1 o'clock game starting in just 29 minutes.
Let's go.
Can't wait to sit back and watch some football all day long. And we got 2 Monday night games tomorrow starting at 5 o'clock Eastern. 2 great games, so get your popcorn and get ready to watch some football. For Bobby Janis and John Vivros, I'm Kevin McCartney. Good luck in fantasy football this weekend, unless your name is Bobby Digital Janis or Bud DiStanio, who are both playing me this week. And I don't know who's playing against me in the other league. I don't have time to check right now, but I'm going to win.